my name is Caitlin Tubergen, and today I'll be speaking with some members of the Commercial Stakeholder Group. With us today, we have John, Barbara, and Wolf-Ulrich, and I'm going to start with Barbara. Barbara, can you tell us a little bit about the mission of the Commercial Stakeholder Group and its role within ICANN?
Thank you. Well, as our name suggests, we represent commercial users of the internet and the DNS system of all shapes and sizes. Large multinational companies to SMEs and the business organizations that represent their interests. Within ICANN, our mission is to ensure that ICANN policy and ICANN contracts continue to ensure a safe, secure, stable, and resilient internet and DNS system, which in turn will create an optimum environment for business-to-business transactions, business-to-consumer transactions, protection of intellectual property rights, and so forth.
Thank you, Barbara. John, can you tell us a little bit more about the membership of the Commercial Stakeholder Group and if there's any specific criteria to becoming a member?
Commercial Stakeholder Group is made up of three constituencies: the business constituency, the internet service provider constituency, and the intellectual property constituency. The membership criteria for the business constituency is that you must be a for-profit entity or trade association that has members that are for-profit entities. The intellectual property constituency is made up of law firms, attorneys, or associations that have intellectual property protection as their main mission or their goal or perhaps their career. Internet service provider constituency is made up of companies, businesses that provide internet connectivity.
Okay, thank you, John. Wolf-Ulrich, can you talk a little bit more about some of the issues that are important to the Commercial Stakeholder Group within ICANN?
So let me just briefly add, something what John was saying with regard to the membership, because it's very critical to understand, the membership in the different constituencies. So for the ISPs, Internet Services Providers, is one of the major criteria is to provide access to the network itself. So that means we have many ISPs who provide a kind of service on the networks running on that, but it's an inherent part for the membership here that they also provide to their customers the direct access to the networks. So having said this one, and with regards to our constituency itself, on the long term, we have two items to work to. The one is the universal acceptance of domain names in all the technical networks, which is critical and to be resolved in all networks, in all equipments which make the networks. And that makes it that we are participating in a global group. We are outreaching also to several parts of the world in communicating the problems and to make it clear to the industry and to customers as well where the problems lie. The other part is the security items we are looking at, that the domain name system doesn't affect the networks in a way that the security is going to be touched or impacted of the networks. So we are in close contacts with all these domain name providers in order to make it possible that the networks are secure.
Thank you. Barbara, would you like to add anything about some of the long-term issues that the Commercial Stakeholder Group focuses on?
Thank you. Yes, I think of keen interest to the CSG going forward will be the ability to gain access to GTLD or generic top-level domain name registration data for legitimate purposes, third-party access for legitimate purposes. I also think, too, that the work of the CSG will be even more important going forward because of the extent to which the entire economy has been transformed by digitalization.
Thank you, Barbara. John, anything to add?
Sure. In addition, rights protection mechanisms, so those are the policies that overlap with consumer protection and brand protection, are a critical focus of the CSG.
Okay, thank you. Great. That was really helpful. And I'd like to say thank you again to John, Barbara, and Wolf-Ulrich for taking some time today to tell us a little bit more about the Commercial Stakeholder Group.